and that it really represents certain value. That is why inflation erodes the value of money and erodes the belief in money. This is crucial because we now believe that money worth less somehow. We do not know what is the exact mechanism. Any individual just sees that prices are going up because there is more money in circulation. So this is inflation in short. But we must believe in money. If we stop believing certain currency, like Weimar Republic, Deutschmark, or whatever the currency was, people just stopped believing in this currency. For example, if a nation or a state ceases to exist, the money that was issued by this state becomes worthless. Why? Because now nobody believes that this makes any sense, this money. It's tied to nothing. Nobody believes because it's not tied, first of all, to human belief in this money. So this is important. Okay, so this is in short about economy and money. So in the economy of the future, when artificial intelligence and robots do everything, there will be no money like we have now. This is definitely what's going to happen. Money that serves what I explained just shortly here, like set of skill, time, and so on. Because if people do not invest their own limited resources, like time, for example, which is the universal limited resource for every human being, and they create a value that they can exchange, because I want to have something, but I have to work, I have to invest my time, and I have to learn something, which also requires my time to invest to learn these things. So I can produce something or give some service, and then people are going to give me this product that I want, which they produced by investing their own time. So you see, this is a cycle. So now I'm limited with how much time I can invest. This is actually what it comes to, how much time I can invest in and how efficient. So what will I learn in certain amount of time that can be used to produce something or give certain service? Okay, so yeah, because if people do not invest their own limited resources, then what will money represent? Well, nothing. It will be tied to nothing. But if money is not tied to anything or nothing, then it's worthless. But the reason why we need money, besides the exchange of value and so on, is because it's a mechanism of control and a mechanism of steering the civilization in certain direction, starting with governments, with the local states and so on, and then going to the entire world. With money, you can shift power, you can form beliefs, you can influence certain regions of the world, you can start wars if you want. So you are shaping the world, the civilization with money. But why is this possible? Because people accept money and believe in money as a concept that represent their time, freedom, and so on, and so on. Well, this is a very interesting and important topic, but yeah, it requires a special video for this. Okay, so if human labor is not needed, so if we become obsolete, then money as we know it today will also be obsolete. But since we need order and control to steer civilization, as I mentioned, in the right direction, money could become something else. And I think it will become something else. And we can also see some glimpse or what money will be in the future, or what will be tied, what the money will be tied to. So the money will not be tied to value produced by humans, but it will be tied directly to you as an individual. Okay, so this is important. Partly to you in the sense of how well you are behaving in the context of the society. So are you obedient citizen? Are you suitable to the system? Okay, so this is important. And how much are you in line with what the system expects from you? So we already have this in place today, but only not in this sense. We have laws, rules, punishments, and so on. So if you are not doing what is expected, you are punished. But it's not tied to your money directly. Yeah, you will pay fines and so on. But you can earn money by chopping woods somewhere in the forest and just selling it to the local farmer, for example. You don't have to have any connections to the system. Yeah. Okay, so this is important. This is now. But in the future, when there is no value created by humans, the money is going to be tied to something else. And this is you directly in how you behave in the certain context, in certain system. Okay, and then you are going to get your social credit score. So this is one version. It's like Amazon ratings, or I don't know, Booking.com ratings and so on. If you are a well-behaved citizen, then you are going to have high social credit score. But the danger here is who will decide about the criteria, and what if government changes and then there are new criteria, as we saw in the past, when, for example, in Germany in 1940s and so on, government came to power with Hitler as a prime minister, and then everything changed. All the criteria changed. But now, in the future, when the technology is so advanced that you can have all the information about every individual, you can know what he's thinking about practically, and then you can use this in very bad ways, let's say. Okay, so because if there is no scarcity, because if you don't need to work, you don't have to invest any of your time, you will just get everything. If there is no scarcity, you do not need to submit to work. And today, much of our behavior is dictated by the need to earn money, to buy stuff, to actually make a living, let's say. So if you want to eat, you have to earn money. So this is how today's world works. So the more money you have today, the more autonomous you are, and you can afford whatever you want, so you are more free. So money is tied to, as I mentioned before, to your freedom and so on. So it relates to freedom and autonomy. So to what will your freedom be tied in post-labor economy? Who will have control over your freedom, let's say? And based on what? So how are you going to be able to get whatever you want without paying someone for the privilege of getting whatever you want? You see, now I will call back on the principle from the economics. Human desires are infinite practically, and resources in any scenario are limited. So if you want to have 10 Lamborghinis or 100 Lamborghinis in post-labor economy, what will be the limiting factor that you cannot have 100 Lamborghinis? And why are you even need 100 Lamborghinis? Yeah, I want them. I want to have them around me and so on. Or I want to bathe in gold. I want to have, I don't know, buckets of gold. Who will allow you to have these buckets of gold? Understand, this is very important. There is no abundance in this sense that you will have whatever you want. It's just not the part of our reality. Abundance in this sense that you can just wish for everything you want does not exist. We are living in abundance today. In most parts of the world, we have whatever we need. If you just take a look around my room, I do not need most of this stuff. I do not need 3 monitors, but for some reason it makes my job easier. So I like to have 3 monitors, so I have 3 times as many as I need. Or if I look around the room, all the other junk that I have, I don't need this junk. Okay, but for some reason I have it. Okay, so a world without a means of communicating desires and needs, and also cost and value and trade-offs of, for example, value or goods or services, or even power. So a world that doesn't have any means of communicating these relationships is not possible. So it's not possible to have a world where some person is saying, I want all the gold in the universe. Of course, I'm not saying that David Shapiro is saying this. I'm just making a caricature. So there is no scenario in which you can say, I want all the gold in the universe. So there is no such universe. Okay, because our desires are infinite. Okay, so who decides the direction of the civilization development? So this is also the question in this post-labor economy, and how? But you see, someone must pay attention to this. There must be some possibility of population control, because the foundation of every state or bureaucratic system is control. This is what we have today, and that's why we have laws, regulations, documents, certificates, seals, penalties, fines, planning, audits, rebalances, or it's a different word in English, I'm not sure. Some rebudgeting of the state budget. Okay, so there must be some possibility of control. We have it today, and I don't see that this is going to disappear in the future. It is only going to become more precise and more fine-tuned and so on. It's not going to be so blunt as today. If you go fast enough on the highway, you will get fined. But somebody has to see you there. But in the future, there will be no scenario where you can drive faster than what is allowed on certain highway, because the road is going to be smart and you're not going to be able to go without punishment. But in the future, I expect that everybody is going to have flying cars, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and even in Star Trek, which David Shapiro is a fan of, I'm also a fan of Star Trek. So even in the Star Trek universe, where replicators do everything, the foundation remains. And these foundations are interpersonal relationships that are defined by the beliefs of each individual. So this is very important. This is so crucial, and this will not disappear. So even if we have everything, we are still going to compare ourselves to other people in some other context that is not material. Like, for example, he's more good looking. And then I will get an operation of my face to be exactly like him, but now I will know that he's natural and I'm fake. And now this is going to bother me. You see, this will not disappear. Why? Now we can go into the spiritual or religious context, because we are sinful beings, let's say. All of this maybe makes no sense when you talk about economics, but we are fallible creatures. So we say one thing and do another thing. So we lie, we steal, we pretend, we are fake most of the time and so on, or part of the time, depends on who you ask. Okay, so this will not disappear. Even if everyone have whatever they want, again, someone will resent that person, because others have different things, just like little children. They want the same car as the other kid, but when you get the same car, no, I wanted to get it first. So it's not good. It will never be good enough. It doesn't matter how abundant the material world is, because it's not the material world that's the problem. It's us, we are the problem. That's why artificial intelligence alignment or AI alignment is not AI problem. It's human problem, because we do not have shared values. We do not have common view of the world or of reality and so on. So we are the problem. We need to be aligned first, and the artificial intelligence will be automatically aligned, let's say. Of course, there is technical issues, but you get the picture. Also, just briefly to mention, what is the point of universal basic income? Maybe some of you were wondering, but what about universal basic income? But what about it? Because in the post-labor economy, in a world of abundance, where everybody has what they want, there is just no basis for universal basic income or any type of income, except if the universal basic income becomes some universal social credit income. So you will all get some basic amount of social credits, and then you can do whatever you want with them. I see this as a very real possibility. Not money as paper bills, but credits in digital form, maybe like in the movie In Time, like counting on your arm or something like this. This is more likely, but not because I'm dystopian, but this is just practical. From technical aspect, it makes sense, because a lot of people are not going to be able to work any job. So this is very important. And also the question is, will everybody really have whatever they want? I don't think so, because I already explained this is not possible, because we keep forgetting one important thing, which is that the resources are always limited and human desires are unlimited. Okay, so this is important, especially if we pair what I said with different qualities of numerous peoples, like greed, different belief systems, different values, various pathologies like sociopaths and psychopaths and so on. So it is clear that without some higher force, higher power, like in this case, maybe in the future, some bureaucratic system, it will not be possible to overcome these fundamental facts. And overcome is the wrong word, actually, because it's not possible to overcome this. This is human nature. It's possible only to control it temporarily, and eventually it will just become obvious. So this is important. Okay, so this is my take on David Shapiro's video. Thank you, David, for interesting video. I follow David. This is a very interesting guy, so I recommend his channel. Okay, thank you for your time. I hope this was informative and interesting. And until next time, see you. Goodbye.